This is a response to Together for Peace, the newly modified Orthodox Christian who's taken on the second saintly name of Apollos. I've made videos to Jack/Apollos in the past, but haven't even yawned in his direction for nearly a year ever since he chose to block me, despite my best efforts to always remain civil and good-humored with him. I'll be referring to him in the third person in this video so as not to seem too hostile by daring to speak too directly to sensitive, peaceful, innocent Jack. Shortly after blocking me, and if I recall correctly several others, he went on a long YouTube hiatus, but has returned to bring us delightful gems such as his recent video titled, Convert the Atheist. It's linked below. In the opening, he states the following: "We all have this sort of desire, this sort of intuition, this feeling, this realization that there's something more to life, and it's very difficult to just, if there's not a God, it's very difficult to simply say, you know what, there isn't a God, and all the value and all the worth and all the meaning that I speak of in life is actually nothing more than a creation of myself and of the society that has imparted it unto me." That could be a very challenging position to hold. He acknowledged that not all atheists hold that position and moved on, but I'd like to point out some of the problems with that statement. First, he's attributing an urge to know what more there is to life to all people, which I consider a misuse of an absolute. Some people are content with or apathetic of their existence and have no time or compulsion to bother wondering about something beyond it. Some people have such a firm grasp on reality and their study of the natural world that they did have those questions, but they've gained a firm enough understanding of life and science to give them sufficient answers. Other than that, he was okay with describing it as a desire or an intuition, but to call it a realization, as he did, suggests that there must be something beyond life and that all people must realize that. His answer to that, what that is God, though he doesn't bother to explain why, and he's put the onus on every non-believer to come up with an explanation for this allegedly ubiquitous urge to know what exists beyond life. It's called curiosity. Most people, but not all people, do have a significant enough degree of natural curiosity to wonder what there is beyond that which is evident. It's rather typical to wonder what's beyond our homes, cities, planet, and as we mature to wonder what's beyond the lives we live. If Jack or anyone else finds the most fulfilling answer to that question to be God, then that's fine for them, but my curiosity on the matter is better quenched by an understanding that many human brains are curious and that the human psyche is capable of convincing us of a variety of untrue things, which is why science is so careful to conduct double-blind experiments. Our brains are also capable of producing emotions and evaluating. The warmth we feel from the presence of a loved one, the meaning we take from that love, or from whatever purpose we derive from life for ourselves, are products of the human mind. Some basic study of neurology and psychology may be in order before declaring that it would be challenging to hold a position that value, curiosity, warmth, and meaning in life can come from anything other than God. That's just the introductory jab at non-believers of this video, though. For most of it, Apollos here is addressing his fellow Christians by giving them heartfelt advice about what they really need to do if they hope to convert atheists. Evidently, he's had so much success at converting us that he feels qualified to dispense some advice on the matter. He wisely warns Christians to avoid stepping into the arena of what we non-believers call logic and rationality, and he tells them the best argument they can make is to demonstrate their commitment to Christ with their behavior in life. He tells them to actually behave the way Christ would want them to, because then they will become the representatives and ambassadors of Jesus for those who know him not. I struggle to see how Christians actually acting the way Christ would want them to would really convince me of anything. For starters, it doesn't seem like the vast majority of those who identify as Christians, including those out to convert non-believers, get their morals from their God. Behavior suggests that they get their God from their morals. This is especially true for the majority of Christians because most haven't actually read their Bibles to know what it says about their God. Most rely on the pleasant little snippets their pastors and priests feed them on Sunday, or what they hear promoted if they aren't even churchgoers. I imagine that Jack is encouraging those people to read their Bibles and live their lives in true sacrifice to Jesus, but the problem doesn't end with just getting Christians to read their own holy books. Those who actually have read it still interpret it in whatever way best fits their pre-existing moral structure. Most people come to the Bible with their morality already decided, having a belief that they are good people partially because they are Christians, and then they read this book which they are told is a source of their moral structure. So those who get through the Bible with their faith intact tend to interpret it in whatever way fits them best. That's how you end up with one Christian who reads the Bible and considers it a license to wish swift death upon homosexuals. One reads it and finds it the best to treat homosexuals like ill people who need to be cured, and another who might read the Bible and feel that homosexuals deserve the same love and respect as anyone else. Each of them can point to certain verses and explain how they interpreted them to justify their stance, and that's just one example. The flexible interpretation of Scripture is what's allowed people the comfort of identifying with the vast American majority and feeling that most of their own convictions are now not only moral because they've decided them for themselves, but they are divinely justified by Scripture. So, if you tell Christians to do what their Lord wants them to do and to act the way their religion tells them to act, most are going to feel they're already trying to do just that, though they could do a little better. But they'll probably nod in agreement looking at each other and thinking, yup, most of them aren't acting as Christ-like as I am. More importantly, when 10 different denominations of Christians walk up to an atheist like me and explain to me that Christ is real and worthy of worship as evidenced by their 10 completely different lifestyles, all influenced by their personal interpretations of the same book, how is that supposed to convert me? Telling all Christians that in order to convert atheists they need to live the Christian life requires a consistent model for what that life means for them. All of them. And that doesn't exist. Not without advocating for literal fundamentalist interpretation of the Bible, which I don't think Jack would support, given his ability to interpret even the most vile passages of the Bible as being appropriate for children of any age. And so if he or anyone else is going to suggest that the best way to convert an atheist is to model Christian behavior in their real lives, a definition must first be declared, justified, and agreed upon as to what that means. Good luck with that. The last problem with what Apollos has told us is the best method for converting an atheist is that it doesn't do anything to advance the evidence of a God, let alone the Christian God specifically. Even if all Christians on the planet did fit one single mold and did share the exact same behaviors based on what they all agreed was meant by the words of their Bible, that doesn't take one step towards proving that that book is true or even divinely inspired. I could write a book this year and claim a God of my own invention is real, and will exact his revenge on those who don't pledge their life to his praise and service. If I got some people to read my book and believe me and actually worship that God and do what the book told them to do, something tells me that letting that fictional character genuinely influence their real-life behaviors wouldn't do much in the way of convincing Jack or any other Christians that my God was real. So, if Jack's half-year vacation from YouTube has enabled him to return with this as the best argument to convert we heathens, I'm not holding my breath for any more compelling arguments from him in the near future.